The Conservative Party is going for a rebrand, but after today's showing, have they found their cojones? Now, the Conservative Convention is going on right now, and, well, they're coming right out of the gates swinging. At the convention, they'll have a whole bunch of speeches and, have a lot of that. We're used to these things happening, but, well, recently we've seen Pierre Poilievre coming out and saying a lot of things that people are actually thinking, talking about the economy, things that are really important to a lot of Canadians, but leaving a lot of things out of his speeches, not talking about particular things. But boy, did they come out swinging in this intro to the new Conservative Party as we're seeing it. And of course, the title of the video here, Canada is being destroyed by a woke movement, is just amazing to hear and refreshing, because this is what a lot of people have been saying. And, well, I mean, just take it away, my man Michael. And we're going to show a few clips from this. But before we get into that, tonight we're going to be doing a live stream. I'm going to show a lot more of the video footage on this. Tune in. I'm going to have special guest Yinka That Guy. He's coming on the channel. He's a commentator from the UK, and he's going to have another interesting perspective, being from another country in Western society that's being torn down by woke culture. So tune in tonight at 9:30 Eastern for that. But let's get into this. Take it away, Michael.
So what an exciting few days we've got ahead of us. Getting to know each other as delegates, making policy, proudly sharing our inherently conservative values and planning our amazing future. We are going to let Canadians know who we are, what we stand for, and shine the spotlight on our leader and the next Canadian Prime Minister, Monsieur Pierre Poilievre.
Standard intro. Sounds good so far.
He has said it before, and I'll say it again. Canada has so much to be proud of.
Yeah.
We stopped the Americans in 1812. We gave the world Billy Bishop, Alexander Graham Bell, and Lucy Maud Montgomery. We isolated insulin. We invented the zipper and the snowblower.
Okay, so they go on and they talk about lots of different accomplishments in Canadian history that we all should be proud of, absolutely be proud of. And it's really interesting that we're being told that we're not supposed to be proud of this. And they come out of the gates saying that. And that's refreshing, obviously, right out of the gates. But where do we go from there?
So in the course of 7 decades of service between her and I, our experiences shaped our opinion that Canadian values are being destroyed due to a lack of leadership and a woke movement that panders to narrow special interests.
Wow. All right. Just coming out and saying it. This is great.
The last 8 years have seen Canada falter. Our country's been led by our government that has been focused on virtue signaling, apologizing for who we are and how we came to be, erasing our history, and hurting and dividing its citizens. Canada has lost its place on the world stage, and more tragically, in the hearts of everyday Canadians.
Yes, that's right.
Nous sommes gouvernés par un gouvernement
We
qui
are governed
divise
by
au
a
lieu
government
d'unir.
that divides
Un gouvernement
instead
qui
of
utilise
uniting
des
as a government
politiques
which
qui ne
uses
satisfassent
policies
qu'une
that
minorité
satisfy
au lieu de
only
la
a
majorité.
minority instead
Et un
of a
gouvernement
majority.
qui ne cherche
And
pas
a
de vraies
government that does
solutions,
not look for
mais qui
real
dépense notre
solutions,
argent
but
sans
instead
penser à
spends
l'avenir.
our money
Ça n'a
without
pas de
thinking
sens.
about the future. That makes no
The
sense.
current Prime Minister leads by example with his sense of entitlement, complete lack of personal responsibility, and his innate ability to see endless flaws in everyone else, but none in himself.
Not in himself. That's right. Holy cow. Oh, man, is this refreshing to hear them actually coming out and saying this stuff aloud.
It's time to rid Canada of that mentality. The me first, not my problem approach and a woke agenda that demonizes anyone who dares to disagree. If you are not woke, you are labeled a far-right extremist, a fringe radical, and somehow not Canadian. Where is the common sense in that?
So this is a sentiment a lot of Canadians are definitely relating to, and more Canadians every week, every month are getting lumped up in this category of far right. And we've noticed this recently, even with the marches that were taking place in Ottawa, where we had Muslim families getting together and saying enough is enough with the woke stuff in their schools when it comes to their children. And then that sparked a lot more other protests that are getting together. And in fact, we're going to be having a 1 million person march across Canada on the 20th of this month, which signifies a lot of people getting together. This is Muslims and Christians and secular people all coming together, all walks of life. They were not a fringe minority, as we've been called. And another thing that I thought was really good to hear in this speech was something to do with something that a lot of people that pay attention to this channel care a lot about and have not been represented by in the Conservative Party or any other party in Canada.
Canada deserves a common sense Prime Minister who will unite us all, who will recognize, respect, and embrace the differences of this vast country. A Prime Minister who will make a policy that makes us all better and all better off. One who will bring us together with his vision and ensure there is a place for every Canadian on his team. A Prime Minister for all Canadians who will unite us by making us see that we count, that every Canadian counts, no matter who they voted for. If Canadians feel strongly about something, a Prime Minister should listen, not attack and insult them.
Absolutely.
If thousands of Canadians feel so strongly about something that they get into their vehicles and drive to Ottawa to be heard, the Prime Minister should pay attention.
Wow. Standing ovation, absolutely amazing moment in this. An open support for the Freedom Convoy, the people that went all the way to Ottawa. And right now, especially at this time, when Chris Barber and Tamara Lich are both seeing themselves in trial against them by the federal government for this. Well, it's the government of Ontario going after them, the government of Ottawa, the municipality as well, with charges against them in this time. Finally, some very fervent, straight up support for that movement. Now, Pierre Poilievre was recently asked about that particular case, and it was all in French, so I'll spare you having to listen to all this in French. If you're French, I'll leave the link in the description. You can check it out. But he was asked, what about the case? What is he, hoping for or whatever? And he just says, I'm not going to comment on a case that hasn't been concluded. So that's that. And end of story. So we'll see where else this goes in this convention. But of course, the polling numbers have been swinging wildly towards the Conservative side. Even CTV News with their Nanos polls that are usually not very accurate to, they lean very left, and so does the commentary that goes behind the polls, because they don't show the actual numbers. They'll just show you, or they don't show you the nitty gritty of how they got those numbers and who they asked, but they'll tell you what it meant anyway. But AA on Twitter here saying, wait until mortgage renewals and all start coming due later this year and throughout 2024, and many can no longer afford their homes. Then the reality of Trudeau's profligate and reckless spending which has helped increase inflation, will hit people in the face for real. And this is really what's going to wake people up, is the increased cost in spending. And of course, Steven Guilbeault, our Minister of, it used to be the Ministry of Environment, but it's now Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Minister of Climate Change. Steven Guilbeault on Twitter saying Canadians can't afford to take the chance on Poilievre, not at such a pivotal moment in our planet's future, because they care about the planet, banning WD-40 and all these other things. This is what they're doing to help the planet. Of course, those aren't on a planetary scale. They're still allowing Canadian companies to export these products to the rest of the world so other people can consume them there. But hey, you know, he's helping the planet somehow with this. His mission is to reduce all of these things. Reduce your well-being is really what it comes down to. Best emissions reduction record in the G7 since 2019. People are going to care a lot less about that when they can't afford to eat. No longer free to pollute. Well, no, it's not free. It's very expensive to live. And, you know, you are the pollution that they're trying to remove. A plan for all sectors to cut emissions, building a strong, clean energy economy. It's not strong. There's no strong economy. And we all see this. But, of course, this is what he has to say. Now, he went to Ottawa and he went to this convention to grandstand, say that he wasn't allowed in, that they invited the Conservatives to their convention, and he wanted to be in there. Andrew Lawton asked him a question, a very poignant question, and I think this is worth listening to.
You mentioned extreme events like wildfires and hurricanes. Why has your carbon tax not stopped those things if that is the answer to these problems?
This question, which I've heard in the House of Commons by many Conservative Party members, including Pierre Poilievre, is yet another example of the fundamental disbelief that you have in climate science and in science full stop. We won't solve climate change overnight, and we certainly won't solve climate change with empty slogans. It's going to take years of hard work to tackle this environmental crisis, and the fact that you believe that somehow we can flick a switch on a wall and everything's going to be fine just shows how the total ignorance that you and many others have when it comes to the issue of climate change.
Well, who's the ignorant one here? Of course, we're being told that more taxes will prevent forest fires. We're being told that, you know, the climate is boiling over, the sea levels are rising at rapid rates. All of the predictions, of course, that were the past predictions have not come true. Why would we assume that these new predictions are going to come true? And the only cure to climate change, apparently, is impoverishment of the middle class, removing the middle class entirely, and just impoverishment of the Canadian citizenry. And this is why I've launched the new ecological, not environmental t-shirt. It's on the store. You can go check it out. It supports the channel, absolutely. But the idea behind this is that we do care about the environment, but we just want to be ecological about this. We don't want to be mental. This guy is a mental patient for sure, but that's we're gonna go over more of this in the live stream, so tune in later for that. Also the people that showed up for this event, Tracy Wilson putting out there on Twitter today, arrived at CP 2023 this morning to a dozen screeching protesters. Someone asked me what they were protesting. Apparently patriarchy, men, climate change, abortion, colonialism, weather emergencies, you know, everything. And big face palm on that. Now, Pierre Poilievre also had a speech that released just before I started filming this video, so we will be going over some of this in the live stream. So again, tune in at 9:30 Eastern time, 6:30 Pacific, and as well as we'll be having a guest to talk about some of the mayhem that's been going on in our civilization. The Western world is being swallowed up by woke culture, and we're definitely the counterculture now. We are pushing back, and this is great. I really, really love to see this. So let me know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Conservatives coming out. Are you perhaps you think this is all just pandering? Perhaps that's your opinion. Leave that opinion down in the comment section down below, or join us in the live stream as we talk about these issues, and we're going to go over some more of that speech, because I found that to be actually quite inspiring, and it was interesting to listen to, and we'll go over this together. So again, tune into the live stream, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and we'll see you in the next one. We'll see you tonight. Keep on trucking.